In the land of Orchestral, there resided a quite adorable, quaint countryside town of Rarityville, where all the ponies were quite fashionable and trend-setting, but none so much as Rarity, who was the diamond of the entire town, if not the world, and the universe itself. On this day, Rarity was working at Carousel Boutique, which was only the most glamorous building in all of Rarityville. Ponies would come from cities all across Orchestral, such as Rarhattan, Raridelphia, and even Rarelot, just to purchase the most refined and ravishing garments Rarity had to offer. So great was her skill with dressmaking that mares would often go blind just from the first look at their vestments. While Rarity prepared to create the latest in vogue fashion piece that every pony in Orchestral would fight tooth and nail over, her front doorbell rang. Putting her red-framed glasses and stitching material down, Rarity trotted in a collective pace to the front door, opening it up with a pleasant greeting of,
"Welcome to Carousel Boutique, where your fashion dreams come true!"
Rarelite was there to greet her, along with Raridash, Rarishy, Raripie, Rarijack, and finally Sparity bringing up the rear. Each of the ponies and dragon looked like a spitting image of herself, which was only natural, since every pony and even dragons in Orchestral were undoubtedly the most resplendent people in the world. The only subtle differences that could be spotted were the mane colors, which varied from pony to pony, with Rarity of course having the most radiant mane of all of them. Also, Sparity looked like a reptile, but he was still quite comingly.
"Greetings, Rarity! The girls and I have an extravagant request that only one with skills and taste as remarkable as you can pull off,"
Rarelite said. Rarity scooted over and gestured for the others to move forward.
"Well, dears, come right in then. No use in discussing such sensational details outside, now is there? Now, what can Rarity do for you all?" "We need some new dresses for the Grand Galloping Rarela,"
Raridash said, floating above the others as she entered the boutique. Her flight was graceful and undaunting, truly a miracle to behold of such beauty in the open air.
"And we know you're the only one who can do it, darling,"
Rarijack said, her accent sounding rather obtuse and forced upon. But she made up for it with a remarkable florid hat that accepted the more ruggish aspects of the Wild West, with a beautiful floral display that matched her curled blonde ponytail perfectly. Rarity held out a hoof to her chest and straightened out her back so that she appeared a few inches taller.
"Why, I couldn't be more touched by your confidence in my abilities than I am right now. Girls, I promise you all the most glamorous dresses Orchestral has ever seen, or my name isn't Rarity!" "Wait, your name isn't Rarity? Then who have you been this entire time?"
Raripie asked, pointing her muzzle right in Rarity's, while her pink poofy mane, which could not be curled or controlled no matter how much mane spray was applied to it, bobbed back and forth atop her head. While normally bubbly and full of mirth, Raripie lacked some of the more qualified attributes of a lady, such as knowing personal space, but her charming pleasantry and ever-friendly qualities quickly made up for that. Rarelite quickly pulled Raripie back with a simple spell, chuckling daintily while doing so.
"Oh, Raripie, I believe Rarity was simply joking. Weren't you, Rarity?"
Rarelite beamed a smile at Rarity. She was, of course, the main negotiator in their group of friends, and having grown up in Rarelot, under the guidance of Rarelestia, she was gifted with raricorn magical abilities far surpassing the typical, along with being almost as prim and proper as Rarity herself.
"Quite right, dear, but nevertheless, I intend to make you each a remarkably stunning dress that is sure to be the cream of the Rarela when we attend it. Rarity, will you be needing any assistance?"
Rarishy asked, hiding her muzzle behind her long flowing mane, whose pink swirl reached the floor, while her meek personality hindered her from showcasing her true beauty most of the time. Rarishy was quite the stunning spectacle when she gained enough confidence to show herself off. Rarity chortled, her eyes positively sparkling as she looked at the others.
Well, since you all are very fashionable on your own terms,
Rarity glanced at Sparity and patted his purple-spiked head.
In fact, I wouldn't be able to get half the stuff done in the boutique without the help of my waiter Sparity, now would I? Oh, shucks! Anything for you, Rarity.
Sparity said, blushing considerably from Rarity's affection. It was no secret that Sparity had a monstrously huge crush on Rarity, but then, who didn't? She was obviously the most exquisite mare in all of Orchestral, so it was no wonder ponies loved her so much. So, the group of prestigiously pretty ponies and dragon prepared for the most monumental of all balls by making their dresses. Of course, Rarity was the one in control of the stitching, weaving, cutting, and even sewing process, but her dedicated friends made suggestions for their individual dresses along the way to make it fit their specific characteristics and fashion tastes. For Raridash, she received a stunning dress of the lightest fabric available as not to impede on her flying. It was similar to the rainbow spectrum to match her mane, but flowed wondrously at the slightest breeze, so that it appeared Raridash was a living rainbow herself. Also, she didn't forget to bestow upon the dress a tasteful amount of crystals and gems that only further highlighted the dress's appeal, with a spingen or two of rainbow sparkles when caught in the right light. As for Rarijack, she preferred a more humble approach that still allowed the glitz and glamour to be seen. Formal wear on the more countryside with minimal amounts of gemstones, though she was very open to colorful fabric. In the end, Rarijack had an ensemble that put all else to shame when compared, except Rarity herself, of course. For Rarilite, she preferred the most communal look of Rarityville to present at Rarilot, while still showcasing her expert tastes in all things prim and mannerly. Thus, her dress had a more homely appearance in terms of quaintness of Rarityville, while also adapting to the pleasantries of sophistication, such as astronomy in the form of gemstones appearing as constellations on her dress. On to Raripie. Rarity was having trouble working with Raripie's rapid commentary for her dress. Thankfully, Sparity was there to list most of her requests, which ranged from the outrageous to the just plain impossible. Well, impossible for some pony who wasn't Rarity, that is. With enough focus and determination, Rarity was able to produce one of the most spectacular dresses ever envisioned in the minds of mere mortals. It was really pink and covered in pink gemstones, with pink lace as well, and who could forget the pink ribbons? Finally, for Rarishai, a simple dress that showcased her more natural side. A flowing green dress with floral, shaped with colorful fabrics, gemstones in the shapes of butterflies, diamonds in the shapes of rabbits, and rubies in the shape of vicious wolverines. Simply stunning. And as for Rarity, she was bestowed upon her own skilled hooves, the best dress of all. Unparalleled in design, a true marvel to behold, a shining light in a cold and dark world, a thing of such beauty and transcendence that its charm could be sensed not just in this world, but all worlds, for existence itself bowed down to what it considered its most perfect of objects. It was a purple dress with a satin finish that was coupled with a dark magenta scarf that sparkled in the light. Also, gemstones. They were fixed on almost every inch of Rarity's dress. Red, blue, green, purple, orange, and even a color somewhere between teal and beige. Truly, there was nothing as magnificent as the dress Rarity was wearing, for nothing else could possibly ever in all of time and creation come even close to it. Plus, It also had glitter on it, which was truly amazing. And so the group of gals made their way to the most prestigious event at Orchestral, hosted in Rarity itself. When they walked out of their carriage, they were truly a sight to behold. Rarity nobles constantly stopped what they were doing to witness the rare six walk down the red carpet to the grand galloping Rarity. Of course, because of the numerous photo sessions of paparazzi and the added slow motion effect for an even more dramatic entrance, it took them around 2 hours to actually reach the doors. But damn, did they look fine doing it. When Rarity walked through the entrance of the castle, every pony was going gaga over her. Graceful and dainty, she was every attribute of ladylike sophistication, that she was practically the incarnation of what the best qualities of a mare should be. So impressed was every pony that even Princess Rarity herself approached the stunning mare.
Rarity, I must say, you are the most beautiful mare in the entire world, possibly the entire universe.
Rarity proclaimed, bowing before Rarity. Rarity giggled, a faint blush on her flawless white cheeks.
Oh, please, Princess. There's no need for such kind words. I'm sure there are other mares in the universe somewhere. None as magnificent as you!
Raridash proclaimed, sticking her hoof up into the air.
Of course there ain't. Rarity's the most beautiful mare ever.
Rarijack agreed.
Plus, she's so generous and kind as well. She did make us these dresses without any hassle.
Raripie said,
That's because Rarity can make any dresses without much trouble. She's just that good.
Rarilight chipped in.
I'm so in love with Rarity that containing myself from throwing myself at her hoofs is a constant effort that I have to control each day.
Rarishai said, her blush even redder than Rarity's.
Oh, girls, you make me the happiest mare in the world.
Rarity said, her group of friends closing in for a big hug, though they took care not to accidentally poke out their eyes due to the copious amounts of sharp gemstones attached to their dresses.
I hope you've enjoyed your happiness enough, Rarity. It won't last for long.
A sinister voice called from above. Looking at the ceiling, one noticed a vile patch of black smoke that had inexplicably appeared above everyone's head. Why no one had even bothered to glance upward was anyone's guess.
Oh no!
Rarelestia said,
It can't be. It's impossible. It's impossible! Who is it?
Rarity asked, her eyes still focused upon the cloud of darkness.
It's my sister, Fashion Disaster. Wait, seriously?
Rarelestia nodded.
Yes, Fashion Disaster. About 1,000 years ago, No, not the sister part.
Rarity interrupted.
I meant the name.
You mean Fashion Disaster?
Rarelestia asked.
Yes, did it not occur to you that the name seems odd at all?
Rarelestia shrugged, scratching at her twirled, yet still flowing in some non-existent, multi-hued mane.
Well, it wasn't always her name. She was once known as Luna.
Rarity blinked.
Just Luna? Not, I don't know, Rarina. Yeah! Now why would she be called that?
Rarelestia asked, with an arched eyebrow.
I'm not entirely sure, but Luna just sounds odd to me. Well, not as odd as Fashion Disaster at least, but there's definitely something...
Hello! Still up here, you know.
The dark cloud shouted.
Oh, yeah.
Rarelestia cleared her throat and focused intently on the cloud.
My sister, Fashion Disaster. She's appeared after her 1,000 years exile, after she tried to take over the world when it didn't appreciate her fashion senses.
Orchestral was a fool to not appreciate my stunning designs.
The dark cloud drifted slowly to the floor, pooling into a pillar of pure darkness. The darkness slowly started to form a more solid appearance, until it took the shape of a pony. Not just any pony, however. It was neither a raricist, a raricorn, or even a rarith pony. It was an alraricorn. She looked just like Rarelestia, except her coat was the dreadful color of dark blue, while her mane was neither twirled nor curled, but was allowed to flow in the breeze freely. Several spectators fainted in the shock just from her appearance. The mare known as Fashion Disaster took a step forward, her name coming to true fruition in the eyes of anyone looking. Her helmet was plaid. While this itself was not too horrible a reason to be bestowed such a title, when one took into accommodation her chest armor, it made itself apparent quickly. It was polka dots. Despicable, ugly, downright garnished dark violet polka dots, along with black purple and really dark pink plaid. Those weak of heart who hadn't fainted before surely did now. And before long, the entire Rarla was filled with sofas.
My dream of covering Requestria in eternal plaid and stripes shall soon become a reality!
Fashion Disaster cackled. Her horn glowed a malicious violet, and soon it started to leach onto its environment. Before too long, the floor started to change color to that of the wretched plaid and polka dot combination Fashion Disaster was wearing.
And then every pony will come to love my fashion sense, whether they like it or not.
Oh no, Rarity, what are we going to do?
Rarelite called out, backpedaling quickly to avoid touching the awful plaid and polka dot nightmare.
We're down!
Raripie screamed.
No, we're not.
Rarity said. Glancing back to the other Rare Six, she narrowed her brows to an unbefitting, but rather appropriate for the serious shift in tone in the story, scowl.
Girls, it's time. Time for the elements of fabulosity to shine!
I never thought you'd say that.
Rarelestia said. Her horn glowed, and a chest appeared before the six. Opening up its confines, the girls fished out their respective elements to do battle with the terrifying menace of plaid and polka dot crusader of the unfashionable. In order, Raridash was the element of frills, Rarijack that of seams, Raripie of course being glitter, Rarishai being adornments, Rarelite having the tiaras, and last but certainly not least, the element of generosity, Rarity. The Rare Six were spirited up into a rainbow of purple, slightly lighter purple, darker purple, purple mixed with some orange, and purple kind of like the first, formed around the group into a ball. Fashion Disaster as well floated up in the air, a field of plaid and polka dots taking shape around her. Then, like a dam being released, both forces met head-on in a collision that produced such a high amount of bright, flashing light that it might have led one into a seizure if stared at directly for too long, and also glitter. In the first 5 seconds, the entire dance hall was practically covered in the stuff.
Rarity! She's too strong!
Rarelite shouted.
We ain't gonna be lasting for much longer, darling.
Rarijack grunted. Rarity winced, her powers becoming more and more drained by the second.
Her positively atrocious fashion sense is canceling out our impeccable fashion sense. Neither of us will win if this pursues. Now what do we do?
Raripie called out, performing a few flips while floating.
Give up?
Rarishai asked.
We're not going to give up!
Raridash quickly yelled, drowning Rarishai out.
My sentiments with Raridash exactly.
Rarity said. Closing her eyes, she sighed.
Forgive me, girls, for what I am about to do.
Rarity pulled off her element while at the same time propelling herself forward with her magic. Without her element protecting her, Rarity was assaulted by a full onslaught of the blast of plaid and polka dots, shielding her friends from being struck. Rarity fell to the earth, crashing with grace on the floor. which was pretty much regular crashing, but done in a sofa that had inexplainably appeared there. Fashion Disaster floated down, along with the last remains of the Rare Six. She laughed, approaching the sofa with her horn still glowing, while a devious smile spread on her lips.
Now, Rarity, your end is nigh. Prepare yourself for the final blow!
Oh, I have already prepared myself, dear.
Rarity said. A hoof appeared over the top of the couch, followed by the rest of Rarity, who struck a dramatic pose atop the couch.
I've prepared to make myself look this good!
A shocked gasp escaped from the Rare Six, Rarelestia, who had been sitting on the sidelines eating some low-carb popcorn, and even Fashion Disaster. Rarity was decked out head to hoof in plaid and polka dot garments. A frilly frock hat covered in every inch by plaid, a polka dot scarf, a formal business attire of plaid, and even plaid horseshoes. But for perhaps the most unexplainable reason of all, she made it work. Heck, she didn't even make it work, she made it look good. So good, in fact, it became the most fashionable look just by being on her.
I can't believe it,
Fashion Disaster whispered.
Me neither.
Rarity agreed, checking herself over with a glowing smile on her face.
This plaid shows off my curves so well, and the polka dot really brings out my eyes, don't you think?
some pony appreciated my fashion sense.
Fashion Disaster had tears in her eyes.
I never thought this day would come.
Rarity rested a hoof on Fashion Disaster's shoulder and patted her back gently.
There, dear. Of course I appreciate it. Every pony has their specific taste, but fashion is beautiful in all its forms, even when it appears dreadful or awful, because it's the pony wearing the clothes that make them appear beautiful.
Rarity winked.
Plus, polka dots and plaid are so in this season.
Who told you that?
Fashion Disaster asked, wiping away her tears.
Why, myself! I am Rarity after all.
Rarity said, chuckling to herself. Soon, all of her friends started laughing, and before too long, the entire Grand Galloping Rarela had snapped out of their over-dramatized fainting to join in the all-good-natured laughter. And that, foals, is how Rarity saved all of Rarquestria, and is undoubtedly the most fashionable mare in all of existence. The end. Hey, I said the end already. You don't have to go home, but you sure as hell can't stay here. Scram. Get lost. Get out. I said out. And you better not steal anything on the way out.